earlier in the show, you saw the first wheel kick successfully executed in UFC history by Edson Barboza. So that is setting up our top 5 for the week, which is the top 5 trend-setting fighters. Yves, why don't you kick things off for us here?
All right, let me show you how we do this. Old school, my number 1 guy, trend-setting fighter, Frank Shamrock. He showed the importance of cardio. I mean, his fight with Tito Ortiz, he was a smaller man. You could see it. The whole fight, he was just working, pushing Tito, until Tito just had nothing left. Right here, he's dropping those hammer fists. Tito has to tap. Look at that. Last one just for good measure. Walking away, hands raised, and all because of his conditioning. So that's my number 5 guy. Next, I'm going to go with Jon Bones Jones. Nice. Jon Bones Jones with the spinning back elbow. He is dynamic, but he was the guy that he would press you up against the fence. On those breaks, he would spin and throw that back elbow, and that comes from an angle that you definitely don't see. So anybody that survives that, I mean, you guys, I give all of you credit for surviving that shot from a powerful guy like Jon Jones, because he surprises you out of nowhere. Number 3, Conor McGregor.
Gotta be on the list. The guy's gotta be on the list.
He's on every list, but he's on this list because he's a master of psychological warfare. And he's made all these guys start to talk smack, trying to sell fights and whatnot. But Conor is still the master of it. He does it in a way that gets into your head, and he kind of takes you out of the fight before the fight even happens. He's done it to every single guy he stepped in there with except Nate Diaz. And even so, he was able to get a W over Nate. Then the man himself, Edson Barboza. He does the most dynamic, flashy things, and he brought the wheel kick back into mixed martial arts. He was the first guy to land one and get a knockout. Now you see guys throwing it left and right. And Edson Barboza is still the greatest wheel kicker, switch kicker, flying knee guy, anything that you could imagine, but he's the one that started the wheel kick in mixed martial arts. And finally, I'm going old school for this one. You guys may not know this guy, but Tsuyoshi Kosaka. If you're watching this show, you got Fight Pass, go back and check out these guys. A lot of guys came in. Everybody used to call the butterfly guard the TK guard back then. Then Eddie Bravo got mad. He was like, it's not called a TK guard, it's butterfly guard. He didn't invent it. No, he didn't. But he brought it to mixed martial arts and showed how effective it is inside the realm of the octagon. So TK, got to give you a lot of love and much respect, brother.
All right, very nice. I love nice mix of, like, you sprinkled in some old school. I like it.
You got to do that.
I like it. It's good stuff. All right, Jessica.
All right, that was a very impressive list, but starting off mine, I have Alejandro Turbo Perez, and this guy really stuck into my mind because I was cage-side in Monterrey, Mexico, watching him just dismantle Jorgensen with calf kicks. And since then, you've seen it just become this trend. I'm seeing people use it more and more. A la Jeremy Stevens, my teammate and training partner, used it to dismantle Gilbert Melendez in one of his last outings. So I think that this is a really significant trend. Next up on my list, I have Johnny Bones Jones, and not for the same reasons as Yves, but for the lead leg teep to his opponent. Yeah, this thing just makes me cringe every single time.
That's the thing.
I don't like it either. I don't like it either, but it has turned into a Jackson MMA signature move, and it has been adapted by lots of other people. This one makes me cringe, though, but it definitely is a trend. Next, I have the human highlight reel, Anthony Pettis. This guy is the first one that I really recall using the cage as a second floor. And, you know, he uses crazy angles and flying, spinning moves, but he really is impressive with how he uses that cage as a second floor and just to set up different moves and make it really, really interesting.
The best Anthony Pettis is like the Matrix.
Oh, I love it, yeah.
Next up on my list, Mr. Dominic Cruz. And
did he pay you to do that, Jess?
No, he didn't. I just love him so much. And I love his dog, Dojo.
Yes.
So I have to give this guy props. He's one of those guys that really makes shifting a thing in MMA. He shifts in. It's really hard to see where he's coming from because he's using such crazy angles, and he's closing the distance with these shifts and throwing punches. And he's also using it to evade his opponent. I think he's definitely a genius. And top 5, I'm going old school as well with my favorite fighter of all time, Mr. Genki Sudo, the trendsetter of all trendsetters, the most stylish fighter from the walkout to inside the cage. This guy is he's a human highlight reel, and he is so impressive, and I really feel like you have to pay homage to him with everybody else on this list.
Nice.
Everybody else on this list could have taken things from Genki Sudo.
Nice, very nice.
That's a solid list.
It is a very solid list.
I got to give you some
Thank
props,
you very
especially
much.
calling out Genki like
Yeah,
that.
well, both of you guys
Yeah.
giving good reason to explore Fight Pass a little more too, coming up with some of this old
If you
school
have not
stuff,
seen
so.
Genki Sudo, you have to watch. I mean, his walkouts
Yeah.
are epic, and his fighting style is just so entertaining, and he's magical to watch.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very well done, guys. All right, well, coming up next, it's our social media segment, Rapid Fire. You folks send in your questions via social media to Yves and Jessica, so find out if yours got selected. Stay with us here on UFC Now.